Well, I must say that these are times that have tested my character and the character of many people in this modern era of censorship and cancel culture. One has to remind themselves that you are going into the lion's den when you go to meet some of these people. And who I'm referring to is Sharon Osbourne. Perhaps she thought that she would have a reasonable conversation. But of course, wolves in sheep's clothing will always lure you in with the thought of reasonableness. They will fool with your perceptions. And you know, when the wolves take off their sheep's clothing, it's kind of too late. This Trojan horse of the left has metastasized itself in every aspect of our society, and it is showing its power. I wonder, do those who want to fight against it have the strength of character to do so? I don't even know if I do. I don't know what's going to come at me when I battle this kind of thing. Because people can basically pull the rug right out from under you. And they don't need to give you an explanation. With social media, there is no customer service. Clarity is not social media's strong point. And just a reminder that those who gaslight you are not your friends. And if you have to contend with them, do so realizing that these people are not your friends. They don't necessarily have to be your enemy, but they shouldn't, in all logic, be your friend. And like any abusive relationship, the one thing you want to do, if you are an intelligent person, is to escape, to flee. Now, some who speak multiple languages and don't have health issues perhaps have a better chance of fleeing and leaving into a country that doesn't believe in the woke left. Unfortunately, in the Anglosphere, that's much less of a possibility. But we are living in the age of fear. And the fact of the matter is, you have no redress. Even the Nazis had the Nuremberg trials and were allowed to give testimony. These cancel culture folks do not want you to have a trial. They want to strike you out of the economy and accuse you of horrible things. And you have no say. You have no defense. I don't know. I don't think it is a majority of people, but they're a minority opinion. I guess they have a fairly large plurality. And this plurality of opinion has metastasized itself. And it's almost like it is in the system. It is like a cancer. And to cut it out, you're going to have to cut out a piece of your body. And who wants to do that? Who wants to cut off their leg to save their life? Lose a breast or an arm? Now, it's not that dramatic. The truth is, you're not going to lose a limb. How much do you need? How much food do you need? What kind of food do you need to survive? Do you have the strength of character to endure the slings and arrows? Do you have the strength to realize that you may lose? The forces against logic and reason today are out there. A lot of people have just given up. I'm told to be quiet because they will attack you and they have power. And I'm told by another person to just pack my things and leave the United States. Of course, not for Europe, but for other countries. Well, I won't go into who tells me that, who tells me to leave America, but it is what it is. It's not necessarily a pleasant thing, but there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do. People who know what's going on, many are afraid to speak up. And I've been told up front to it's not worth the fight. They will take everything you have. If you become too powerful or you become too vocal, they will take everything from you. And I want to I do have political Woodstock in the thing, and I don't know what she means. Come on, I might. You know what? I might just invite her, see if she wants to come along and chat. I have limited time. Did I copy this to the clipboard? Did I copy this to the clipboard? Let me see here. Well, and I don't know. Oh, there we go. Yes, it's on StreamYard. And if you want to, do you want me to put it in Discord? I haven't opened up my Discord, but I can do that. Oh wait, Political Woodstock is already here. So hold on, let me invite her in. Let me get out of Discord because it does make noise. Hey, Political Woodstock. Hey, Angela. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh,
there's an echo. Hold on.
That is probably on my end, and that's because of the music that I was playing. So that's the reason there was an echo.
Maybe it's better now? Yes. I closed all my windows just in case.
Right. So
were you feeling de-appreciated this morning?
I feel like, to a degree, what I'm observing is there are people who have a lot of power and control, and they are very unfair. I mean, and basically, I've never seen anything like this, where this kind of unfairness and something that unjust. It is kind of rattling to me how vindictive these people are, and how much of the establishment these vindictive individuals.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. Okay. And you're speaking in a hesitant mode. It makes it sound like you're fearful. I don't think you're fearful. I think you had some trepidation. When you have your vacation, maybe you should go to some more conservative states and see if it feels different. It might not. You may feel exactly the same. But I wouldn't give up on the states just yet. I mean, there are some territories you could go to that you might really enjoy. I mean, Honduras, Puerto Rico, our country has many different territories. Have you considered that, or even Alaska? Concluded.
I've considered different states, but I wanted to. What do you think? Because I consider woke leftists to be a very huge threat.
What is the worst they're going to do to you?
Well, they are controlling the culture, and they are setting policy. And they are setting policy without debate and without discussion. And I consider them such a threat that I think that there should be almost a NATO alliance against them.
Well, that's a little extreme.
Well, there's
the silent majority. The silent majority still exists. You're not alone. These young people, particularly the millennials, that are acting as if they're a protester, an activist, really do not know what they're doing. If they knew what they were doing, they would attack policy and not just shut down your highway. I mean, that's just a stupid move, if you ask me.
Well, not only are they shutting down highways, they're shutting down speech. And this happened on the college campuses, and now it's become, and now they've metastasized themselves in both legacy media and social media. And
well, I see another movement. If you want me to be honest, I see another movement that's speaking just like you, like, why can't we have our say? And they're absolutely right. They should have their say, as long as it doesn't encroach on another person's rights. And that's the same thing for the Antifa style protesters, activists in my opinion. As long as your say doesn't encroach on other people's rights, then we have something to work with, in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you think about a form of some of these cancel culture, particularly celebrities that have done what they've done? What do you think a form of retribution to do to them what they've done to others? Do you think that that is a just and fair thing? They did it. They've done it to others. Shouldn't they get a dose perhaps of their own medicine?
Well, that sounds like bitterness. Bitterness does not produce health, and our country needs to get healthier. I just, I'm not a person that would say turn the other cheek, but if it's not necessary to strike back in bitterness and vengeance, then perhaps it's better just to move on and affect policy. Policy is my middle name
Well,
because that's what matters.
well, Angela, these people have inflicted a lot of pain on a lot of people, and
Yes, it can be scary too.
but some of these ringleaders, why is it that they shouldn't face the same music that they did? I mean, if someone strikes me, by nature, I'm going to want to strike that person back. I'm going to want to. I mean, I think I personally want to see pain inflicted on those who inflict pain on the innocent.
Okay, Al Capone. He did a lot of bad things. Some people would have considered him a bad man, but they got him on tax fraud, something simple. And if people want to invest to see if these entities are reporting their donations, which a lot of them aren't, you have to pay taxes on them. There you go. Or they might become a martyr also, but you got to take that chance. Again, I would go through policy, be the better person. If they're breaking the law, like tax fraud, for example, then hold them accountable. They want to hold other people accountable. Why can't it be on the shoes on the other foot? Equal footing.
Well, yeah, I mean, and to me, I'd want to go over I'd want to punish the worst, the people who actually believed in cancel culture, the Brian Stelters and the Don Lemons. I mean, it would please me to see that they would lose their jobs and be canceled out of
Well,
civilized.
CNN needs to be canceled. The whole thing. There's not a host, in my opinion, on there now that is not slanting the news to a certain way. They're just not Fox News the same. If we could just have a new broadcasting world, maybe that would be good. Now I hear Trump he's going to start this new media thing. I haven't read a lot of it about it, but I saw a blib. This is what he's been working on since he's been out of office. So maybe there might be something good about it, even though I don't like the man. Maybe there'll be something good about it. I can hope, but hope is fleeting, right? But talking about cancel culture and how to handle it, I think going through policy and holding people accountable to the law will show them for who they really are. If they're defrauding the public who has donated their hard-earned money, some people donate their food money or part of it just to help, quote, quote, the cause. You know, to me, that's stealing. That's stealing. But that's just my perception of it. But those people that are doing that and people are looking at them like a great leader or martyr, let's show them for who they really are. They're human, just like you and me. What do you think of that?
Well, I want to say that I think that social media has committed acts of fraud. When you shadow ban somebody, that's fraud. Because,
But it's not a public entity, though. I wish it were.
but it's still
But
fraud. It's bad
there's
business.
no way to have regulations that seem fair. Like there's no equal justice in media,
Let me
social media, that is.
let me finish.
Sorry.
You're not being an honest actor, and you're pulling the rug out from under someone. That even
Hmm.
even even uh, even private businesses have to follow certain forms of regulation, and you can't commit. As a public entity, I don't think you can commit fraud And when you shadow ban somebody, you're committing fraud.
Well, I don't look at it that way because social media is not regulated. And do we really want to regulate it? Do we want the government telling us what we can or cannot say, how we can say those things or not say those things? You know, I don't have the answers for that one. I wish I did. But right now, they're not regulated. Fracking is not regulated either. And it's caused destruction to the earth. I think social media has done the same effect as fracking has. Concluded.
I again, I'll go back to my point. I think that that you should be an honest actor, even if you are a private company. You cannot just do what you want as a private company, and it is the public square. There was Section 230 that said that they are an open platform, not a publisher, and they are acting as a publisher. And I think that there needs to be 230 reform, and it needs to be, if you're going to operate within this nation, this country, we have a First Amendment, and they have to go by the laws of the First Amendment, not international laws, because, like I said, they also, there are things in Saudi Arabia that they censor and things like that. But I mean, if you are an open platform, you are just that. You are advertising as an open platform, and you're being dishonest, and they're not honest actors. When they go through Congress, they lie all the time. These companies, Google and stuff, lie all the time, and they're dishonest.
Zuck you.
That again?
Zuckerberg. There's a slam. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, he's over Facebook. He created it or partially created it. People say Zuck you because they're so pent up rage at him. A lot of developers or software architects will say Zuck you. It's not regulated. I mean, it's not. They're able to do as they please. And the fracking industry is very much the same. They are not regulated. That's why I compare it to fracking, because they both cause a lot of damage. I don't know. Every time they get a bill to do something, say with net neutrality, that's a big thing. That's one way they could be regulated. But the internet would cost us an arm and leg at that point because these private companies would charge. Like Facebook would be like Netflix, you'd have to pay, or Twitter, or like lanes on a highway. Every lane would have a toll. So I think this connects to net neutrality and not being regulated, just like the fracking industry is not regulated. I don't know the answers. Maybe we could find someone that might have possible solutions, because I think a great many people do not like the change in our culture that we've seen since this boom of the internet. What say you?
Well, a lot of these leftist organizations were started online, and they're not regulated. They've committed what I see to be acts of terrorism, and our nation has the right to oversee. And if they're going to regulate one sort of speech, well, and this speech and the people that they're championing are committing acts of terror, well, we have to see that company as a hostile to the nation in which it's in and its nation's founding, because these groups, by the way, if I went on a street corner and I was large enough, Antifa has formed online. The same thing with Black Lives Matter, also have formed online to form an attack. And they are not, they are usually the ones that are the aggressors as far as attacks go. Concluded.
Sorry, I had to get to the mute button. I hear what you're saying, but public entities are regulated except for fracking. I think that's the key to it, is to give up our freedom and allow it to be regulated. It is the old Wild West. where there were a few boundaries.
Well,
The Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
and
Black Lives Matter is well organized.
let me,
Antifa is not, but it is organized.
let me stop you on this. Let me stop you on this. I don't want to interrupt you, but you cannot refuse people electricity and water. You cannot refuse them those services. And I think the same thing with regard to the public square. And they in their rules, they do not have clarity on their rules.
Now, hold up a minute. You know, people can get their electricity and water shut off, and what other services they have to their home.
You don't pay the bill, but the rules are very clear.
But there's a consequence of not paying the bill. That's right. And I think with net neutrality, if they go to heaven forgo, and they allow regulation to come in, and these public services become private companies, which they are anyway, and they start charging, I don't know how that would work, because that definitely would happen. Concluded.
Well, my problem with these social media companies is they are not honest actors, and they do behave in a rather arbitrary manner, which I consider to be rather dangerous. Now,
You're being ridiculous. I mean, come on. Explain yourself when you say they're public actors. Explain yourself.
did I say they were public actors? I mean, well, they are
Bad actors, I think. I think you used the word bad actors.
well, they're dishonest, and they habitually change their rules in order to suit their ideology. And every incident that happens, I guess, would be on a conservative side. That's when these individuals decide to change the rules and change the change the rules of the game, and they continue to move the goalpost further and further down, and it's not good. Anyway,
well, we need some answers. Are you going to do a show tonight, a follow-up show?
I may.
I'll try to find someone that can come on and bring us with some more facts that I'm lacking, and I think you might be lacking as well. So we can find some solutions.
I'll add on this. The civil rights movement today is not about rights. Well, it's about taking away people's rights, and it's not civil.
Well, you've mentioned the civil rights industrial complex. I think that might be a good topic tonight, and to label your show that. I think that would get a lot of buzz, and to talk about ideas. Conversation is so important. Dialogue brings answers and solutions.
It does.
So I'll look forward to your show tonight.
All right, I'm gonna wind this thing down. Do you have anything to add before I call this show? Before I end the show and wind it down?
Well, as I said before, I look forward to your show tonight. I think people can hear a duality of points and see what else is out there. Get people thinking. And I really like your show. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Angela, for coming on to my show. And as I started the show, it's really strength of character. And I don't know how strong of character we have. And if we're strong enough, those who are against the cancel culture and the woke left, how strong they are or could be against it. Many of us, we come from ancestors who came here, particularly on this country, on ships, on boats, with limited food. We fought wars. I mean, the last wars that we fought, World War II, Korea. During the Korean War, many soldiers nearly froze to death. I think it was the Choson River, where they almost froze to death in the heat of Pork Chop Hill. And now we're seeing groups that say we are trained Marxists infiltrating all of our businesses and the like, and then egotist and narcissist take the rest of the pie. But how strong are you? How resilient are you to stand against this kind of thing? Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thank you.